Oh, yeah. Hello?
Ba 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 ba. Okay.
Mike!
Okay. I'm just gonna have to assume that that's picking up audio from my mic. I don't know.
I can listen to... Wait, we're on stream right now.
We are on stream right now. On OBS, it's not taking the Scarlet.
Oh,
audio.
yeah, I can't hear us at all on stream.
Really?
I don't think so.
Hang on. I'm bringing down the music now for a little bit more contrast.
Oh.
Does that sound any different? Does that sound? Can you hear us?
More contrast.
Oh, yeah, I got us.
Oh,
I got us.
thank God. Okay, cool. And does it sound like this is coming from my mic, or?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? What?
On stream, does it actually sound like it's coming from my mic, or? I know you're hearing it from my mic because I'm talking to you on Discord.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I'm hearing you on stream as well.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Great start. Hi, everybody.
We're going for speed. I wrote that song.
That's a great song you wrote.
Thanks.
Nobody gives you credit for all of the great songs that you write.
Thank you.
I really loved London Calling. Phenomenal song you wrote.
Yep. It's interestingly enough, it's about Versailles.
It's not even about London.
Don't know why everyone thought it was.
Take that, King Charles. See that, Corey? I just made us relevant. We're doing current events now.
I wish you wouldn't.
No, absolutely not. That's my worst nightmare. The level of change I have experienced in what I want to do with my life from like when I was 14 and I idolized Jon Stewart and I was like, I want to do that. That now,
tiring.
That now is the most exhausting sounding job. I can't fucking imagine wanting to do something like that.
And Jon Stewart looks very tired.
Right? Have you seen him recently?
Just constantly telling people to fuck off and being very tired.
Like, don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed older, grumpier Jon Stewart a fair bit, but like, yeah, Father Time has not been kind to that man. That grumpiness was earned.
Yeah, I mean, you know my feelings on grumpy old men in a harmless way.
Yeah.
Not grumpy old men who want to restrict the access to, medical health professionals.
Yeah, no, the ones that complain about like having too much mayonnaise on their sandwich or whatever. Like that's the degree I'm going for.
Or like Alan Moore, famous comic book writer, being like, fuck comic books, and then continuing to write them. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Anyways, if you're just tuning in, hi, welcome to the TGS stream. So I'm Taylor, that's Corey. We're both halves of TGS Games. Every week on this stream, we normally spend creating our debut game, Vault Peddlers. We're actually taking a 2-month hiatus from that now to participate in the POCKETQUEST 2023 Game Jam. And to do that, we're making a brand new game over the next 2 months. Working title is called God and a Corpse. It's going to be a really fun exploration-based TTRPG centered around basically rogue AIs that are set loose into a just destroyed universe. And they have to go out and explore and find meaning in a life where they're predetermined orders are no longer relevant, and so now for the first time they get to experience they get to experience the noumena for themselves. And so yeah, right. I've been working on the marketing for this game apparently.
Yeah, you should. Do you write any of that down?
Absolutely not.
That's what that.
Absolutely not, but thankfully this is recorded, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which we should note, like, if you are interested in watching this from the start, unlike Vault Peddlers, this is a good place to jump on board. We only have one video ahead of this. It is on Terramundi TV, which is our YouTube channel. Go check us out. If you want to watch through episodes upon episodes of what is confusing Vault Peddler shit, you're welcome to do that too, but I realize that might be a harder point to jump on. But this is only one episode deep, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just going back to it, ironically enough, that is the reason we had this stream, was so that we would have recorded notes for when we say or do something that sounds cool. But yeah, so that's basically the stream. We're going into Vault Peddler, we're going into God and a Corpse now, and we're talking about the overall layout of what this book is going to be. For those unfamiliar with Pocket Quest, which don't feel bad because up until last week I wasn't. Pocket Quest is basically an idea where you're creating a very small TTRPG. We're not making like Dungeons and Dragons. We're not making Pathfinder or anything like that. What's the maximum? It's like 20 pages.
Yeah, 20 pages. Recommended 6x9, but you can go 8.5 by 11.
Yeah. So it's designed to be very short. Today we're talking about the layout of the book. We've already gotten a really cool glimpse into some of the visual language. I'm sure Corey's going to have some updates for that to show us as well.
Yeah.
But now we're also going to talk about like the textual language. Like it's kind of a boring conversation, but one that we've both learned to have up front. Because we got into it too late with Vault Peddlers, and it resulted in a bunch of last minute decisions that now we're having to rethink. So yeah, I don't know where you want to start on this. I know you had some thoughts overall, but this seems like a good place to hand it over to our creative director. Go for
it. I mean, like, what we're going to talk about today for outline for today is we need to talk about layout. We need to talk about font. And before we talk about either of those, I think we need to talk about tone. Because that is going to dictate quite a bit of what's going on here. Yeah. Now, tone is both a conversation in text and language, layout, and I mean, it's everything, right? Like your font dictates the emotion you're trying to evoke, and so does like your chromatic color choices if you're going color, or if you're not going color for that sake. What kind of art you're using, what kind of layout you're using, all of that comes down to tone. So I think we are going to start with a conversation on tone.
Yeah.
Layout, font. What else did I message to you today? You got Instagram handy?
Yeah, hang on for me one sec. Did you send it to me on Instagram this morning?
Oh no, it was on Discord.
Yeah, it was on Discord. Hang on one sec. I've got that too.
I don't even know why I sent it to you on Discord. Like, it was an insane choice.
We have several conversation channels. It happens all the time. So you were saying I need to outline book layout, text and font, and tone of text today. Anything jumping out at you think we should cover as well?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that was it.
Cool. So we will start with a conversation on tone. So I think like the thing that like we talked about last time, and something that is jumping out to me a lot, like conceptually with the pitch that you just did, there is a feeling like we want to have discovery, obviously, because this is a game about exploration. Yeah. So discovery is going to be big. And we also, for me, there is a feeling of like quiet desolation, I guess, is like how I described it last week, right? Like there is this like there's emptiness to the universe, which I guess is inherent with it being destroyed, right? So those are the things that like immediately jump to me when I think of this game of like AI inhabiting like the corpses, or they're inhabiting like EDA suits and cybernetics in corpses. I mean, we're also like something else to weigh is like death is not like a foundational aspect of our game. It exists in that like if everybody dies, right, the party inherently wipes because there's nobody to bring you back. But like it is such a non-factor as to like you could start a new game, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put I don't even know how best to word non-death other than death is not relevant, or death is less relevant.
Yeah. You can always quote the classic 1999 action-adventure film The Mummy and just say, death is only the beginning, which I think is, yeah.
Very pertinent here.
I will never miss a Mummy reference. I'll never miss an opportunity.
I know it. I'll do a little heart. See, this is a lot of fun having this share.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious because now we are prioritizing Madman notes instead of hiding them.
I think now we're just leaning into it, and people can get the full. People can finally grasp and appreciate the level of work that I do in organizing your notes when they see the finished book. So one thing I want to add to this is going on to what I said before. There is, I think, almost a sense of like existentialism to this game.
Yeah.
Right? The idea of what does a machine do when it no longer needs to follow its directed orders, right? That's almost the central conceit of the game. So I don't necessarily, it doesn't need to be full-blown philosophy because I think that that's not going to be fun for most people to play. But something that like indicates this kind of philosophical outlook of like, what am I doing here? What does it mean for me to like to bring my own meaning into this thing? What does an AI want? What does a computer want? Is I think a pretty central thematic tone.
What does a computer want? It's like this is what does a computer want is the '90s rom-com version of this.
Starring Kim Basinger.
So I mean we have elements of that already, right? Like we have the idea of like these like paradigm moments where things shift, your ideology changes, your purpose changes based on like elements in the game. So like I totally agree. I think that is a like really fundamental built into the core mechanics. So we want existentialism, cool, desolation, discovery. I think there is a sense of like mystique, right? There is mystery inherent in the game. Mystique from X-Men is in the game.
True.
Which is cool.
If you're blue, you're in. Yeah, Nightcrawler is also in the game.
Nightcrawler is in the game. Yeah,
Nightcrawler is in the game,
and all of the BAMFs.
I will walk on this. Nightcrawler is in the game.
Yeah, and every single one of the BAMFs.
Every single one of them. I don't know who we're fighting against. But apparently...
Well, the Bamps are like, I mean, you're not fighting very. You know, the Bamps are like actual little demons, right?
No. I got that. I meant like in the sense of this is a boardroom meeting and I will walk if Kurt Wagner is not in this game. I don't know who I'm fighting on this, but like it's a very serious position for me. Lilac Basilisk, so nice to see you again. Thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription. You kick ass. Thank you so much. So if you're just joining us, we're building a new game right now. We're in the middle of a 2-month Pocket Quest adventure where we're making a little 20-page RPG. We're calling it God and a Corpse. It's all about AIs set out into a destroyed universe. Their orders no longer matter, and now they have to figure out what they want to do with their time, which is infinite. Right now we're talking about tone. So feel free to chime in with anything that you think seems relevant.
Your voice just got crazy, and I don't know if it was me or you.
I don't think it was me.
Okay, cool.
I don't know.
I mean, that makes it easier.
That narrows it down. Okay, cool. So what do we have? We have Discovery Focused. We have Quiet Desolation. We have kind of not focused on death, but at the same time, a lot of existentialism and a lot of mystique. I definitely think those two pieces together are very interested because existentialism, for people who have read a lot of existential stuff, they're fucking obsessed with death. It's like all they fucking talk about. So I think that's going to be a really interesting combination. Let me ask you this. All of these are great, larger thematic themes. How do you want that reflected in the writing? Because we've had a lot of conversations about this when it comes to, Vault Peddlers. What we've landed on now is kind of like a gonzo, almost wacky, much more comedic, like much more humor in the writing. How do you think that changes when we look at God and a Corpse?
I mean, it's definitely less. I mean, it is more subtle, right? Like subtlety will be the name of the game if we are focusing on the idea of desolation, right? If that is a major thematic, because I don't think it needs to be pompous like the shit I wrote for the Vault Peddlers website, right? Like that has like a level of pomp and circumstance that I don't think this necessarily implies. Like subdued and quiet are words that jump to mind. How that translates into text, Taylor, I don't know. You don't whisper it.
Elstragoon, thank you so much for joining us. Hell yeah, dog. Good to see you. Hell yeah. So not centered around pomp and circumstance. That actually works. I definitely think that there's actually a weird amount of overlap here with a lot of the writing I do for my actual job, where a lot of what we're trying to do is like cut out a lot of the fluff, cut out a lot of the theatrics, and focus on just sort of the meat and potatoes, which I actually think that fits really well in a game centered around AI, right? Not to say that AIs couldn't have a personality in this. I think it makes sense that they might. But certainly as far as how the game is presented, I definitely think it makes sense that they would have at least a starting kind of vernacular that begins with this really straightforward, no frills kind of language.
Yeah, I think that is 100% the case. And I think that, like, what you said there is that's what we're shooting for, right?
Yeah.
I gotta hold on 1 second. So let's real quick, guys. I just gotta finish making this.
This is really important. We gotta. You guys don't normally get to see art happen, right in front of you on the stream, and we want to make sure that this one's really special.
This is a warning for everyone.
with that like gold and dark blue or black. Maybe it's black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
It's almost got like
There you go.
an Egyptian feel to it. It's like King Tut's
Oh, it's supposed
headdress.
to be like a it's supposed to be like a warning thing. Like,
Oh yeah, sure. That too.
yeah, I could make it a brighter yellow. Just to there we go.
I don't know if that's what
Everyone stay away from.
everyone stay away from death.
Okay, so I mean, like, let's take a peek at like behind. I've got like two pieces of art that are like kind of finished. I'm sure I'm gonna. They're not like finished, but like I'm working on like rendering them, so I'm less worried with them right now necessarily. Because even if here's the thing, like one thing that I'm focusing on with this is like personally as a project is not letting like perfection get in the way of like good. And we need like a bit of work done before this, and like a lot of that is visual. So I'm like, it's got to get done, and I think that I think these are going to work. So. This is the first one.
I love this one so much.
So this is what I'm trying to do, and I've talked to Taylor about this, and this is also going to be a challenge in layout, which is why I want to talk about layout, because like I want to do dang, my connection is bad, gonna have a hard. Oh no! I will fight your ISP.
Do it.
Everyone who subscribes will give us more money to fight Elstragoon's ISP, not in court.
We're
not
fun
in court with our fists.
With our fists. We're challenging it to a fist fight on the playground, 3 p.m. Be there.
Beat the hell out of an ISP. So I say monochromatic. Obviously, like it's not, because there is the orange. I am throwing the like a highlight kind of on each picture, which I think is going to, because there's this idea of like a binary in our game between like the corpse and God, and I'm trying to represent Mystique with sigils and also like include like computer shit in that.
Yeah.
So I mean, God in a corpse, ruined astronaut, guts, no guts. Everyone thought it looked like a dingaling, so I took out the guts and replaced it with ribs. But I'm going to try to put some guts into each one until Elle tells me like you can't do that. That one looks like a ding dong. And eventually I'll get guts that work.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is the basic idea. Really like vector graphic shapes, even though it's not vector, but whatever. Same kind of idea here. Two skeletons having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is the basic art idea here.
Yeah.
So
and
it's what we're working with.
I love just stylistically, I just want to comment on a couple of things. I love the gold pops in like the otherwise kind of monochromatic blue background. Like really communicates like space, really communicates like desolation well in ways that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Also really communicates like that these AIs are sort of the only things that are alive in this universe. Like, does just a great job of establishing that kind of visual language. Like, I did not appreciate the extent of thought that goes into this before I started doing this stuff with you, but like this is very neat. And it's a very cool example, I think, of like communicating the central themes of a game visually in a way that is very quickly in a way that's very quickly digestible. Thank you, Elstrick.
I told you, my man's gonna get. L's gonna keep me honest.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, yeah.
Really quick, I have a quick question. What size? What size did the pages need to be for this thing?
Well, I'm gonna try 6x9.
6x9. Okay. I'm asking because Google Doc actually gives you a paper size option, and so I'm just going to try and get it as close to that as I can.
Yeah, I mean, and like part of why I want to do layout early is so we can picture how many actual images we need, because I imagine it's going to be something like 8, which will put us a little less than one every other page, and then we'll have cover and spread, which you know, like tangential. This could be spread, but we'll see about that. So like, okay, part of that communication that you're getting, I think, is like color language. You can do like really evocative communication of mood with monochromatic schemes, because like colors are inherently mood focused. So like blue could be a lot of things. Blue could be like tranquility, but it can also be like that idea of desolation and emptiness. And like, I think that communicates well here. Whereas like something like, red is going to be a lot more energetic. I think that there is a quiet to blue that I enjoy. So yeah, that is what we're working with, which also brings me to like the idea of layout, because I'd like to ideally do something similar with layout, either with, which is going to be a challenge, right? Because I really like the idea of having like this monochromatic blue throughout the layout too. I like the idea of the book being that.
Okay.
But that makes placing images more difficult, right? Because if everything's like where are the breaks, kind of thing,
Right.
So I'm thinking of maybe doing like a cream background with like paper pulp textures, and then doing like vector shapes of blues where text would lay down, and then having like stamps or sigils with like those orange pops for chapter breaks, which is like my idea in my head right now that I think could potentially work. I think next week is when I'm going to start playing with layouts. This weekend I'm taking off from things to like decompress, but then it's right back to it. Good thing is I can whip out fucking one of these drawings in about 2 days.
I was gonna say, I mean, that is kind of the beautiful thing about this whole deal, though. Like, you really are able to sort of take more time with this, not in the sense of that the art needs it, but I think it's a much more doable project than what we have envisioned for something bigger like Vault Peddlers or Supermassive or whatever the hell we're calling it now. Like, I definitely think that works really well.
Yeah. So like, so tone, I think we have covered. I really liked the pitch you gave. And maybe that is like how we continue. Font, we're going to have to pick 2 fonts, probably. We will have 2 fonts. Well, 3 technically, because we'll need a title font. Well, we could use a title font. Title font could be separate. It doesn't need to be the same thing. And like, potentially you could go over it and fuck with it, and like do something a little different with it. So essentially we'll want like 2 fonts. We'll want like a body font, like a workhorse body font, and like a header font, and then we can throw. You like how there's 3 letters that are capitalized, 3 letters that are lowercase?
Beautiful.
The word header.
Super translatable. Really great.
It's cool. It's cool that I have ADD. And we'll want like a body font. And like, if we want to do like quotes and things like that, we can just take the body font and italicize it. So, whoa. Okay, cool. So like, that's what we'll need to find. I don't know. Like, we could do like a DOS style font for headers or something. That would be the easy thing to do. It might also look like shit. Hey, here's another thing. Everyone can probably picking fucking typography is fucking frustrating. It's hard, dog.
Yeah.
Typography is hard. Fonts are hard. It's all about making choices, and I don't like to.
Well, we don't
So,
like making choices, but we're very good at it. Like,
What?
I said, we don't like making choices, but we're very good at it.
We're good at eliminating choices, which I guess in turn makes us good at choices.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a positive spin on things. I like that. Okay, cool. So we'll need to look at fonts. Beyond that, like actual layout. So let's do. I would like to stick to. What did I say? Was it 6x9?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6x9 is their recommended. This will be the goal. I think because here's the thing, right? Like we have like the lion's share of the mechanical system done.
Yeah.